All right. So we're getting the theme song going, guys, today. Are we ready?
We're ready, yeah.
This is going to be good.
Welcome to the Hammock Life. This is episode 7 on Wednesday, March 25th. We're getting more entertaining to ourselves. Hopefully you find us just as entertaining. Kev, you broke Bill. You actually broke Bill with the intro.
I told you to be good. Smash that like button.
And subscribe.
Oh, you did not disappoint.
Yep. He said he was going to have an
Wow.
intro, and he did.
That was an intro. That was some intro music.
Yeah.
I was just super impressed you did it all with just the one finger.
That's what she said.
That's what she said.
All right.
And the thing is that it's a Concert Mate 380. I don't know if you guys know the Concert Mate 380, but 4 AA batteries, and you crush it every time.
That's
It's
incredible.
off now, sorry.
He broke you.
Yes. Okay.
See.
I threatened to make a soundboard, and Kevin followed through. That's
Yeah.
just what it comes down to.
Everybody loved my singing, but
Yeah.
I figured let's up it a little bit.
Yeah,
Right?
I think there was production value in that. I really
Right.
do.
It was pretty good.
So let's crack them open, boys.
All right, let's do it.
All right.
Virtual cheers.
Cheers.
All right, Julian,
Cheers
what do you
and
got
beers.
today, bud?
I've got Shake Your Booty by Lock City. It's I think it's probably a milkshake IPA. It tastes like a milkshake IPA. Yep.
There it is. I got some Back East Brewing Company. Tony Goes Dancing.
Goals.
Double IPA. 8%.
I went with Relic Brewing's Violet Ray IPA 7%.
And I'm living that hammock life by drinking our house lager, Even Flow.
Even
First time I've seen it in a can.
Why is that in a can?
I don't know.
We don't can that beer.
Kevin got me excited. It was in a can, so I grabbed it.
Had nothing to do with the beer, though.
It had nothing to do with the beer. It just Even Flow in a can. What? Okay.
It was the intro song. I mean,
It was the intro song magically puts new beers in cans.
it's fair.
So far, we have not proven this theory wrong.
But by all the math that I've done, we actually got 12 more subscribers just by playing that song. And they haven't even seen it yet.
Yeah, I think that's accurate. Might even been 14.
Probably. All right, so we're gonna do the non-wheel format today.
Yes, we are.
I came in raring to go with my hot take. Hopefully, I word it properly because I thought about it and I thought how I wanted to word it. So here it goes. So hot take is that triple IPAs are not stupid. The problem is they're in the wrong category.
Ooh.
I placed that triple IPAs should technically be a subset of a barley wine, and they're really just today's new barley wine based on where barley wines have come from and what they really are about.
So a hoppy barley wine?
I mean, barley wines are hoppy anyway.
Yeah, American
Okay.
style barley
Yeah,
wine is
all right,
hoppy.
All right.
So, I mean, I'm going to bastardize the history of barley wines, but really one of these, it was when they, breweries in ancient times, they would brew on their house system with a whole bunch of grain. The first runnings, the first time they would rinse the grain, that would be sort of their barley wine. So it was like version 1. Then they'd rinse the grain again, make a second one. Maybe that was like an IPA type of beer, stuff like that.
You're referring to Party Guile for those that are not in the brewing names.
That guy. So, I mean, realistically, that's not how we brew anymore. So if you brew a barley wine, obviously you're brewing it to technique. Sometimes you still could reuse those grains or whatever, but realistically, you're designing a beer to make it now. So my hot take is that really this is a barley wine, and we're just utilizing newer brewing techniques and then marketing, because we're marketing as IPA because it's just more popular. But I really think that they're not stupid. They're just misunderstood.
I might sit here quiet and drink this whole episode because I don't have much to say on this topic at all. I don't.
First you broke Bill with the keyboard, and now you broke him with
He's
your
still
hot take.
he's
Well,
still taken back by
well,
it.
no. Well, I mean, triple IPAs and higher ABV beers in general are not something I've ever paid much attention to because it's not something that I enjoy. It's definitely not something that I've ever been had the need to look into from a brewing angle because I've never brewed them as a home brewer. We've never really brewed them much here or anything like that. So it's really an area that I've never really ventured down.
His brain's smoking right now.
It
Is
really
what he's
is.
saying.
It really
It's
is.
like, oh man.
I'm trying to find something to say about this, and I have nothing because I just don't like high ABV beers like that, especially triple IPAs, the ones I've had at least.
I'm a little broken on this one too. I'm so sorry. I guess
Can't be broken. It wasn't because of this that he's broken. It was a different reason that he was broken.
a different reason. So Kevin, your hot take is that triple IPAs aren't awful. They're just not IPAs.
I didn't say they're not stupid.
He said they're
Okay.
misunderstood.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. I think triple IPAs are kind of stupid. I don't think there's any real reason to brew an IPA type beer with that high of alcohol, and I don't think they taste very good because I think with how much alcohol they just get too sweet and they don't taste like an IPA. But I would agree that they are more barley wine than not. But I don't know. I'm bad at this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the problem is I've never had one that I've actually liked. I've tried quite a few, and I if someone gives me one, I'm gonna try it. I'm not gonna say no and turn my nose up at it, but I've just never had like that. I've just never had one that I've been that I've liked at all.
It's fun. I will say though that my first whale that I ever chased was Dogfish Head 120, which is technically a triple IPA that I've always thought drank more like an American barley wine, so I guess I'm with you on that. But that was my first whale.
I guess my hot take too is like a lot of circles. People are always like, "Oh, triple IPA is dumb." So my take is that maybe it's just that we're looking at it wrong.
I have lots of thoughts.
It's
All
possible
right.
though. I mean,
So Pat's gonna make up for everybody, right?
Thank
no,
you,
no,
Pat,
Bill,
please.
finish your.
I mean, I do hear people say they're dumb a lot, but we also get a lot of requests from customers all the time. Like, hey, you ever gonna make a triple? And my answer is always like, I don't know. I don't see the need, but it's not off the table.
He just puts his nose up to him.
All right. So, I'm essentially going to argue against myself after I present my initial argument. Because I have two main thoughts.
So you can be Bill.
Spent all day playing with himself. Now he's gonna argue himself.
Yeah.
This fucking guy.
What else are you gonna do in quarantine?
Yeah, I mean, it's hump day, and I can't even be close enough to anyone to hump their leg. So what the hell?
Bring the dog back down.
That's fair. So I have two thoughts on this. My first is that triple IPAs are fucking stupid. I say that a lot. It's common. But on the flip side, barley wine is life.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So I still believe
That's a mic drop.
I still believe triple IPAs are stupid, especially from the fact of you're throwing in essentially a higher ABV beer to appease those people that just want to come in and drink the highest alcohol content they can, which we've already spent an entire episode talking about. And I feel like you're wasting hops and volume and money creating that beer, as where if you want to classify it as a barley wine, I'm okay with that. However, I think you need to tone back the hoppiness level in the triple IPA. Like you're kind of wasting too much in there. You're using too much malt and too much hops to get this final product that is falling in between the realm of an IPA and a barley wine. Make up your goddamn mind. Like, pick one side of the fence.
I hear it. I mean, not rebuting, just adding. I mean, one of the few beers I do remember, like I was never really into barley wines personally, but if someone shares it, I'll appreciate what I'm given. But I'm never like a hunter or looking for beer necessarily anyway. I just appreciate good beer that's presented to me. But one barley wine I remember that I just never, like when I first got into beer, I was at Rock Art in Vermont, and they're in that Burlington old Alchemist area. Now it's a little bit closer, I guess, to the new Alchemist actually. But needless to say, they had a bomber when bombers were still available of their barley wine, and they definitely were. It was definitely an American style barley wine, and if anything, it had more of an IPA vibe. Especially at the time, it was bitter with like probably Simcoe, so it had a little bit of West Coast Simcoe pop coming through. It was pretty nice for what it was. But it was totally felt like a double IPA flavor profile, but they categorized it a barley wine because it was 10%. and they were still following some of the guidelines. People who aren't watching or quoted guidelines. Realistically, that's sort of one of my memories anyway of a barley wine. So a lot of times I think that's probably where my take is coming from, is that I felt like some American barley wines in some ways bled to the IPA world anyway. I think that a lot of times they're like, well, it's higher ABV, so that's why it's a barley wine, So I guess that's sort of where my thought was going from.
I'm not gonna lie. I like this take that triple IPAs are not stupid; they're misunderstood. When you go to a homebrew,
You said that better than I did.
Yeah.
Can we remind?
Well, no,
I'll sound smarter with that.
Sometimes you just have to come up with the actual statement of what the final take is. And if you go to some homebrew competitions, they will often group that because that triple IPA doesn't really have a style in the BJCP definitions,
especially New England style triple IPA.
So a lot of the time, those higher ABV IPAs might actually get grouped in with like the American Strong Ale, the American Barley Wine, like in that grouping for judging, because it does in fact fall closer to that than it would a traditional IPA. So I can get behind this that triple IPAs are misunderstood. I really can.
You still don't like them.
I still don't.
But
like
you like
them.
the take.
I think it requires us as an industry to define where the line is, and let's be honest, from the marketing perspective, IPA is going to sell better than barley wine.
I mean, all day.
Plain and simple.
I mean, personally, I don't really care what you call it. If you're gonna call it what, as long as you are representing the beer properly, you're gonna call it whatever helps sell it easier. And realistically, style versus marketing are two different things, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, you sell a pale ale and you call it an IPA, and people are like, sweet. You sell a pale ale, they're like, eh. You know what I mean? It's gotten better recently. Obviously, people are looking for more pale ales now, and
people are branching out a little bit more as time
you do a
goes
hoppy
on.
pale ale, you might as well just call it an IPA because you're probably going to sell it 2-1.
Yeah.
I
kind of want to experiment with this. I kind of want to brew an American barley wine and label it as a triple IPA, and right next to it, take the same beer and
happens.
label it as an American barley wine and see what sells better. We can call one of them Master of Puppets.
You know exactly what's going to happen.
The IPA
is going to sell better.
But will people notice it's
barley wine
a
wars?
a different beer?
Yeah.
Like if both were on draft, like with literally the same beer with two different names,
I think
would people notice?
I think so. You don't think so?
I'm kind of mad that I just said this.
well-
I mean, some people
podcast.
definitely will.
Yeah,
Some people will.
There are very educated palates out
And,
there,
well,
but I think people also follow what you guide them towards.
Right, and
Yes.
it also depends on how close they drink them to one another. If they're drinking them back to back, they might notice. If they have one today, one Thursday, they might not notice.
That's a good point.
Or you work your way up to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I will backpedal a little bit of saying that a lot of people are pushing, brewers are pushing to get away from the IPA side. So this could be an opportunity too as well, where you are actually seeing, like a year and a half ago, you probably saw way more IPAs, where now people are saying, well, this is a pale ale, even though it's New England style pale ale. So I think that it is an opportunity, or maybe people do want to differentiate away from the IPAs a little bit. So if it's possible, maybe we just made a ground-changing movement in the world of beer.
I'd like to know what you guys think. I really would.
Yeah. No, honestly,
This might be my favorite take we've done yet.
Because people love, there are certain people, aforementioned, I said, by the way.
Afro man.
Aforementioned.
Oh, we don't want to pay him royalties. But like Mike, I know he loves barley wines, and
funny story.
Fun fact.
Fun fact. I did not bring that up because he called me out for bringing him up for the last 3 episodes. So I didn't do it.
Mike,
it wasn't me.
He told me.
No, we did not converse about this.
The best part is,
I would have Skyped him had I known this was going to be our topic of conversation
every
tonight.
episode when we can have people on, just be a different Mike, and be like, which one were you talking about?
I like this.
Bill was saying you don't like.
I've only had maybe 1 or 2 barley wines that I've tried that people have shared with me that I've actually enjoyed the sample size that I've had. Most of the time, they're just way too sweet for me. I mean, I don't like sweet things in general, so most of the time they end up being way too sweet.
And the
for
only
me,
one
so
I've ever
it's just not something I enjoy.
Only one we've ever made, and you weren't. I don't even think you even
Waves
knew
Not
who
Worries.
we were. Yeah, Waves Not Worries. We did one with
I wasn't working here yet, but
Yeah.
I was helping out. I was washing kegs and
that
stuff.
was definitely a spin on trying to do a little bit of a double IPA meets not New England by any means, but barley wine meets a double IPA kind of vibe because we were using New Zealand hops and other things like that.
And I actually liked that one because it wasn't overtly sweet like most of the other higher ABV triple IPAs or barley wines I've had. It that sweetness was cut down.
But you guys didn't overload it with hops, which was nice.
We put a good amount on.
Put a good amount
not
in.
compared to today. That was also brewed 2.5, 3 years ago. I mean, it was a while ago. So
look, that's my biggest argument.
Which
about,
was with Outer Light Brewing, by the way, that we brewed that with.
My biggest argument against the triple IPA is eventually you put so much hops in the beer that you don't notice a difference. Like the casual consumer is not going to know the difference whether you put 3 pounds per barrel or 4 pounds per barrel in the IPA.
Well, sometimes that's experimentation right now too, though. I mean, we're on that. I mean, it's always experimentation. We're on that point right now where with hops, I think you're trying to figure out limits as well as best
practices.
Yeah, and getting the most out of it.
I like this steak a lot.
Anybody else? Julian's been.
Remember
to talk in your microphone though.
Yeah, I don't know. I like I said, I was kind of stumped by this one. I don't like triple IPAs. I don't drink a lot of barley wines. I do appreciate them. I think I like the English style ones a little bit better than the American ones, which
that is a whole nother podcast
which kind of takes me even farther away from this conversation. But JW Lee's Harvest Ale is delicious, I don't know. I don't like triple IPAs, and I don't drink a lot of barley wines.
So you know what we missed out on this one right now?
What?
And I mean. Were you gonna say something about triples, by the way?
No, it's totally unrelated.
Oh,
so say whatever you.
Because I have a good job of interrupting Bill. We didn't see anything about food.
Yeah.
Not yet.
We're not done yet.
No.
Oh.
Am I pressing the stop button?
No, I guess not. I
got my finger right there.
I was just thinking about how hungry Bill was because I sort of felt hungry.
I am hungry. I'm very hungry. I have an off-topic question.
All right.
I'm drawing a blank. Do you recall what was in the stop being greedy? It was Zythos.
Blank a doodle do.
Zythos, Amarillo, and Mosaic, right?
Matueka?
Oh, Matueka, yeah, not Mosaic.
Only a couple of cans of that Crowler left.
Rob,
right?
I don't feel like texting you back, so you're going to have to watch this episode. Zythos, Amarillo, and Matueka.
I don't know. What you should do is text him back and say, hey, the answer is in tonight's episode.
Yeah, you have to like the episode.
Hit the bell,
smash the like button.
Yeah, and then you'll find out.
Oh, the bell. We got to remind him about the bell.
Yeah, I just did.
Yeah, we did. So, did you have a food place?
No, I was just bringing it up.
Yeah. I had one and I forgot what it was.
I mean, normally we're pretty good at it. It's like
well, it just comes
well, nobody ate today.
Yeah, we didn't eat today. Yeah.
Oh, actually, you know what? I'll give you a food place local to here in Hamden. We picked up dinner last night on our way home. Is Enchiladas in Hamden. Enchiladas on Whitney Avenue. They do some good kind of like Tex-Mex style Mexican food, and normally they have some local beers on draft. And it's a great spot. And right now they're doing takeout and pickup orders.
I remember what it was, but I'll save it for tomorrow.
Yeah, you can't do it now.
Yeah, dibs.
I don't like food.
We did two yesterday.
We were making up for one. We forgot the
yeah, we forgot episode 5.
Okay.
So yeah.
Let's not get greedy. Stop being greedy.
Only a little bit left.
Is that all gone yet?
I think there's 5 crowlers.
That was literally 2 minutes ago.
Yeah,
I said those exact words.
So it'll probably whatever tomorrow.
Probably.
So
tomorrow is Thursday.
Yeah.
So by the time episode 8 airs, they may be gone.
Probably. I mean, I would assume. To be
get
honest.
on
I already want to make
Fully
that one
honest.
again. I'm really, really happy with that one.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're being greedy over stop
We
being greedy.
we were saying like this is what proves the pilot system sometimes because that 3 hop combination I don't think we would ever, especially Zythos. I mean,
right, yeah, we would have never.
Amarillo, Matueka, sure, but Zythos I wouldn't have thought to brought that in there.
Yeah, we would have never just gambled on a big system and thrown it in there.
Yeah.
But doing a pilot batch, it proved that they really worked well together, especially how we used them. So I want to do it again.
Yeah, I like beer. Well,
All right.
anyways,
Don't forget, check out your beers at the local breweries. We got links below.
outro song.
It's time for that outro.
All right.
Beautiful.
Is it the same as the intro?
I'll do it differently.
You know what the best part about this is? As we send you off to keep living that hammock life, I can just fade to black with